Hey guys, how we doing? Thanks for joining me once again for another set of stories right here on Thailand Bound. If you haven't been here before, my name's Peter, and today I'm going to be reading out 3 brand new stories sent into my channel by viewers. Now today's a little bit different because we've got a bit of a Tinder theme going on. Now if you don't know what Tinder is, it's an online dating site which a lot of guys use when they come out here to Asia and especially Thailand. There's a few of them. You have Tinder, badoo, thai-friendly. There's several dating sites that guys use, but Tinder's a very, very popular one. And I know a lot of guys out here who live here and their full-time girlfriends actually met them on Tinder. It's quite a good place to meet women if you're not into the bar scene and everything like that. So all 3 of these stories, by coincidence, are about Tinder, guys' experience on Tinder. And I thought I'd put them all together and give this week's theme a bit of a Tinder theme, as it were. I hope I've explained that correctly. All right, let's jump into the first of 3 stories this morning.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Working in an incredibly boring corporate office job in Australia, nothing much excites me on a day-to-day basis. But this year, my boss, not wanting to spend time away from his family, brought me into his office and enthusiastically offered to send me to London to attend an annual work roadshow. Great, just my luck, I thought. Heading to London in the winter, a country similar to Australia, only colder. However, after a few minutes of pretending to listen to my boss whilst nodding, a bright idea came into my mind: a stopover in Thailand. I'm a seasoned traveller to Thailand and would be more than happy to brave the brutal London weather to get some time there, so after pretending to listen for a while longer, I smiled and told my boss, sure, thank you for the great opportunity to represent the company, whilst truthfully all I could think about was the energy of Bangkok and the possibilities of who I might meet there. After going back to my desk and daydreaming about Thailand, my next task was to figure out a way to get a stopover in Bangkok, and after thinking hard overnight, the next morning I told my boss that in order to save the company money, I had managed to find a very cheap flight to London on Thai Airways and that I would be happy to tough it out if it meant the company would be better off. I was proud of myself at this point and then told him that due to the stopover times, unfortunately I would need to stay in Bangkok for a night, stating I would be very jet lagged. I explained that with a cheap hotel the cost would still be far less than Qantas, and he agreed. And after sweet talking the HR travel team, I managed to push out my stay to 3 nights, given it was over the weekend, without even telling my boss. Fast forward a few months and I was at Sydney Airport boarding a Thai Airways 787 Dreamliner, and stepping on the plane I almost felt like I was in Thailand already. Something about Thai Airways makes you feel like you are there, whether it's the hospitality of the cabin crew or the food. Unfortunately, I would have to go through a long flight and a trip to the UK, but I was Thailand bound for a 3-night adventure. Fast forward and I was in London. And since this story is about Thailand, I'll skip that week I spent there, apart from saying I had a surprisingly good time in the motherland of Australia. Let me state the obvious. My affection for Thailand isn't only the cheap beer and Thai food. I'll be honest, it's the women. I'm in my early 30s, very single, and basically no longer interested in dating Australian women. Don't get me wrong, many Australian girls are beautiful, but when dating in Australia, you always feel like you need to be perfect and on your best behaviour all the time. Whereas with Thai girls, you can just be yourself and have a good time. You don't have to be perfect as long as you are kind, treat them well, and don't disrespect them, their culture, or friends and family. So given this, I didn't want to waste any time. After landing in Bangkok, I fired up Tinder straight away and started my usual routine of mass swiping girls whilst waiting in line at Bangkok immigration. Honestly, my first night was tame. It turned out my excuse to my boss was correct. I was in fact tired and jet lagged. So I went to my hotel, which I booked in Nana, the Movenpick Hotel on Soi 15, and passed out. A great base for the weekend ahead. In the morning, I awoke fresh and excited about where the day might take me. I went out to Sukhumvit Road for breakfast and started to filter through my many Tinder matches. One of the girls I matched had a cute face and a great body, slightly bigger than the average Thai girl, but to my liking, and best of all, she had no tattoos. Her name was Far, and I messaged her and we got on well. I found out she graduated from university and was working for a hotel company in their corporate office. Originally from Udon Ratchathani, very soon I asked her for her line ID, where I messaged her and asked her to come to meet me for lunch. She said she had already eaten, so I asked if she wanted to go to see a movie, and she agreed to meet me at Terminal 21 Cinema at 1 o'clock. I made my way up to the top of Terminal 21 and waited patiently. We all know Thai girls are always late, but when she did arrive, I was a bit speechless. Her photos didn't do her justice. Her body was sensational, and she may have caught me looking down on a few occasions. My advice: a movie for a first date is a stupid idea, but I didn't care, being happy just to be with her. After the movie, I took her to a sports bar near Terminal 21 to play pool. I'm not a big drinker, but I can handle a few casual beers. It wasn't a go-go, but a normal bar where we had a good time playing a few rounds of pool and getting to know each other. Thai girls are also sweet and always make you feel appreciated, even with simple things like refilling your beer glass or checking if you need another drink. And I can understand why so many guys from all over the world fall in love with them. We continued talking, and Far told me about her dreams for the future and that one day she would like to travel to Europe to see snow, with me quite quietly thinking I'd like that too. During one conversation, she asked if I had read her profile properly, and I asked her what she meant. She said she was not looking for a one-night stand and wanted a relationship, and truthfully, I replied that I was open to that with the right girl. Afterwards, we went to Nana Soy 11, where all the action is, to watch some live music at one of the Hillary bars, which was also a strategic move for me, as my hotel was right nearby, so I would be able to suggest going back there. It worked, and after listening to music for a while, I suggested we go to my hotel rooftop bar to check out the view, knowing full well there was no rooftop bar, and we soon went to my hotel room to have a drink instead. Wow, what a whirlwind couple of hours with a stunning local girl. Her body was like that of a Latina woman. Far was a treat, but soon enough she had to head home and she had to work early in the morning. There were no requests for money, no indication she was a freelancer. She was simply a sweet Thai girl looking for a nice man. I was happy to be that guy for now and hoped I would be able to see her again as I whisked her away onto a motorbike taxi. After a peaceful night alone in my bed, I woke up once again, ventured out to Sukhumvit, this time catching up on some shopping at Central World. To be honest, the shopping in Bangkok malls is a bit overrated. Good brands are expensive compared to Australia and the UK, but the scale, cleanliness and food in the malls are impressive in their own right. For my third and final night in Bangkok, I didn't have any plans. I knew Far was working, so wouldn't be able to meet her, so I logged back into Tinder to see what other matches I had. I had hundreds, mostly Thai women, but within these matches I saw I had also matched a stunning Indian girl named Priya. Nothing wrong with a bit of variety, right? So I started chatting to her and realised she was in Bangkok on a girls' trip, but she told me all her friends had left to go back to India and it was her last night in Bangkok. Well, let's just say I was more than happy to be the entertainment for a girl as stunning as her. We decided to meet at her hotel, which was at the Labua State Tower near Ceylon, one of the fanciest rooftop bars in Bangkok where the Hangover movie was filmed, which made me a bit nervous thinking about what this night would cost me when she asked me to meet her for dinner at the rooftop. I'm a simple corporate worker with a meagre salary, so I explained I had already eaten but would be happy to go somewhere else for a drink nearby. She agreed and I jumped in a taxi and made my way over to Ceylon. I'll be honest, I was a little nervous because from the photos I felt like I was out of her league. Sometimes if it's too good to be true, it actually is. And this thought was constantly through my mind, but I thought if she was a foreigner then perhaps we were on an equal footing. As I waited for her in the lobby, I felt more and more nervous until I saw her walking towards me and was taken aback. She was wearing a stunning white dress showing her perfect body, and my initial thought was that perhaps she was some form of a freelancer, given normal girls don't necessarily dress so well for a casual drink. But as she came towards me and we hugged hello, she had a very sweet and fun vibe about her, which calmed me for now. We made our way to a nearby underground cocktail bar I found on Google, where we got chatting about our travels and her life in India. She told me she was at a prestigious university in her final year of studies, and I threw little tests at her to find out if she was a freelancer or a sugar baby, such as asking which countries she had travelled to, whether she had been to Dubai or Europe, and what she did for work in India. She told me she worked casually as a model while studying, and even showed me photos of her in different advertisements in India, telling me this was her first ever overseas trip. I wasn't completely convinced. She wasn't a working girl, but I thought it was her last night in Bangkok and perhaps she just wanted someone to hang out with. So I just enjoyed having a few more drinks and vibing. We decided it was time to move on, and she suggested we go to her hotel to check out the view of Bangkok. I didn't need much convincing, but at the back of my mind I still thought it was too good to be true. We got to her hotel and relaxed on the balcony watching the city move, and there were no signs of any other guys or scams, so I just gave up and decided to enjoy myself. Here she told me about her dreams for the future, like going backpacking through India, and I joked that I would love to join her if she would be my translator and tour guide. I felt lucky in that moment, but was quietly dreading going back to Australia. Soon things turned into the bed, and let's just say I had another whirlwind night, but this time with a stunning Indian girl. Whilst nervous at times, at no point were there requests for money or any other signs of trouble, and I had a great night with a sweet girl who I initially thought must be a freelancer to want to date an average guy like me. As we parted ways, I thanked her for a great night and hoped we would meet again somewhere soon, whether in Thailand, India or Australia. I made my way back to Nana and went to bed thinking about the great time I had with two amazing girls in only 2 days, and fantasized about what it would be like living here permanently. However, reality was waiting, and the next morning I departed Soi 15 and jumped in a Bolt taxi for Suvarnabhumi Airport. All in all, whilst I was in a quick stopover in Bangkok, it was one full of excitement, amazing girls, spicy food and great experiences which I will always remember. Thailand never gets old, and I will hold these memories in my head forever and keep up my frequent trips for as long as I can. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's Thailand different to every other country in the world, and you know, Tinder, these dating sites, they are very good. If you coming in for a few nights, you can meet a kind of regular girl, and as this guy did, go out and have a few games of pool, watch a movie, and end the night in a nice way. The only thing that's in the back of my mind is these girls who he described as sweet. If they're that easy to get back to the hotel, I mean, how many other guys have they done that with? You know, maybe they're just out for a good time, but, you know, if you're looking for a serious girlfriend, it's always kind of in the back of your mind, isn't it? You know, how often has she done this sort of thing? But saying that, as I said at the beginning, I do know a lot of guys, including myself, who have met girls on Tinder and are very, very happy in a relationship. Okay, let's jump into story number 2, also Tinder themed. The Thai-friendly site, this is Thai-friendly, not Tinder. The Thai-friendly site is remarkable, and I'm not here to promote it, only to share my experiences. It connects you with a wide variety of women from all walks of life in Thailand, and I've never had a bad experience, which is why I use it often. If it were not for the site, I can honestly say I would not be here writing this story. I have been travelling back and forth to Thailand since 2019, but my first-hand experience with the site started in 2022, when I met a woman living in Bangkok, originally from Sukhothai. She was struggling to make ends meet, but like everyone else, she managed. She was a terrific 36-year-old woman, but her story was heartbreaking. She had been married once, and her husband took their child at the age of 3 and moved a few hours north of Sukhothai. I can't imagine the pain she went through, especially when the father's family brainwashed the child. I advised her to keep a daily journal addressed to her son rather than sending letters that would likely be thrown away, so that one day, when he accuses her of abandoning him, she can show him 12 years of notebooks written with love and hope. Once we took a bus to Sukhothai and stayed at a homestay. She borrowed her sister's car for the 4 days we were there. I met her grandparents, sister and brother. They live in what I can only describe as a family compound filled with love and unity. Her mother is still alive, and I later found out she wanted to know if her daughter could get some money out of me, which her daughter admitted to me herself. Her father passed away years ago. We still keep in touch, and she now works as a hairstylist. I also met another woman who lives in Trang province. She is 52 years old and has worked as a government employee for 24 years. She is divorced with 2 kids, one in university in Bangkok and the other in Chiang Rai. I flew down from Bangkok to meet her, and she picked me up at the airport. She introduced me to her colleagues, all women, and there must have been 10 of them gathered around me. We took a group photo, and I remember thinking what a unique experience it was, something few foreigners would ever have. One man in the office admired my Ozzy Osbourne shirt, and I told him I had seen Ozzy and Randy Rhoads live a month before Randy died. The next day, she and I went to Koh Nang and had a great time. 4 months later, we went to Koh Lap, and on my final trip, we went to Koh Lana. She handled the language and logistics, and I funded everything. She also took me to her hometown of Charat, where I met her parents, both in their early 90s and still working outdoors. Her father was a former military man, and her mother had worked for the government. Her 3 sisters are all university graduates. The parents own property and live comfortably off rental income. We shared many wonderful experiences, although at times I felt a bit taken for granted. I even paid for a new pair of shocks for her Ford. The oldest friend I have in Thailand is a woman who has never been married and has no children. She is 49 and takes care of her mother. Every time I land in Bangkok, I make sure to see her and bring her a bottle of perfume. She always shows her appreciation. She is not wealthy, and I help her out with 1,000 baht every other month. She is the sweetest woman I know, pretty kind and always cheerful. We have spent some lovely times together in Bangkok, though we have never travelled anywhere. She isn't a stunner, but I know a good woman when I see one. We're not right for each other romantically, but I care for her deeply and wish her only the best. Then there was a woman from Phetchabun. She was 48 when we met on Thai Friendly, and at first she played very hard to get. It took 3 trips to Thailand before she agreed to meet me. Each time I told her I was only coming, she said she wasn't ready. I told her that I was visiting Phetchabun with or without her, that there was no stress or obligation. She finally agreed to meet me. Being with her was a dream come true. She took me to her hometown, which turned out to be a small wooden house on stilts, far different from how she had presented herself online. I realised that if her old car broke down while she was showing me around, I would likely be the one paying to fix it. She had no money, and at her age no one wanted to hire her, even though she had an accounting degree. I had an idea and told her to pull into a service centre. We changed the oil and air filter, replaced all 4 tyres, flushed the radiator, fitted new wipes and had the car washed. She started to cry, saying no one had ever done anything like that for her before. She was all alone in the world, never married, no kids, no relatives, in debt, but to me she was the most beautiful woman in Thailand, and words could not describe her beauty. The list of women I have met goes on. In Krabi, I met an executive medical director. In Chiang Mai, a head investigator for a government department. In Khon Kaen, a university student from Udon Thani with excellent English studying finance. I met a law office worker, a factory worker, a widow and a woman who owns a uniform design business employing 5 girls. Her second job is running a food stall at Jakajak Market where she employs 3 girls. She once offered to take me to Roi Et, where she is from, but the timing never worked out. Each woman and every experience has been a joy. Even if you treat them with kindness and respect, they always respond the same way. Most make the first move, and what happens beyond that is private. In conclusion, every woman I've met online and built a friendship with has been an experience worth its weight in silver dollars, just like hitting the jackpot in Vegas. Yeah, so he's obviously had a good time, hasn't he? He's met a lot of women on what was a dating site? It wasn't Thai. It was Thai friendly, wasn't it? But it just goes to show you, if you come out here, regardless of age, the opportunities are endless. Okay, let's jump into our third and final story for the morning, and again another online dating story. Right, dating sites can be tricky because what you see is not always what you get. True. Over the years, I have learned that the number of single women in Thailand who put themselves out is staggering. I have collected many observations and learned how to approach a connection and what to look for when choosing a potential partner, depending on what you are seeking. Culturally, I'm having to realize that I am connecting with someone completely different. After meeting several women and being allowed into their lives across Thailand, I soon concluded that many of them share things in common that we as Westerners often take for granted. When viewing their profile photos, it can be misleading because when you finally meet, you sometimes wonder if it is the same person you have been talking to for months. The takeaway is that most of them want a better life. Some work long hours or even two jobs and have little time for a relationship. When they finally get home, they are exhausted and spend their day off resting. The attention they lack in real life, they find by creating a profile. There is no harm in that. It is fun for them. But you have to wonder why some would promote themselves if they are not ready or willing to have a real relationship. They are still very dear ladies. I know a bit about construction, and when I chat with women from rural areas online or WhatsApp, I notice their rooms are built from cement blocks with corrugated roofs, no insulation, and open gaps where insects come and go. This is more common in the countryside than in cities. Some do not have a proper bed but sleep on a thin mat on the floor. I have seen this on video calls and in person when I'm invited into their homes. Curtains are often made from bed sheets and pots hang on the wall near where they sleep. Many homes lack hot water. They fill a large bucket with water and use a small bowl to pour it over themselves. The same water is used to flush the toilet, which may be a squat toilet or a sit-down toilet without running water. An Australian man I once worked with said his mother always told him, "We are poor, but at least we can be clean." Cleanliness is not always a top priority for some of these families, and I believe that it's cultural. Switching gears, I see many profiles showing women in glamorous dresses, drinking wine on rooftop bars overlooking the city. I once paid $25 for a single drink at one of those places, so imagine going there on a first date. Do not expect her to reach for her wallet. Beware if she wants to meet you there. Many post pictures in front of designer logos like Dior or Prada, which tells you where their values may lie and hints at the cost of taking care of them. When I see a profile saying, "I want a man to take care of me," I interpret it as wanting financial support for herself and possibly her family. There is nothing wrong with meeting a woman who lives a glamorous lifestyle, but ask yourself one question: did she earn it or did she get it from someone else? You will not know unless you take time to observe. Pay attention to her photos. Paris, New York, the Alps, New Zealand. Then think about how she funded those trips based on her job. Pictures tell a story. I once friended a freelancer on Facebook and saw photos of her in England, Australia, the US, Switzerland and Finland. Moving on, what they look like online is rarely what they look like in person. Technology makes it hard to tell. I once chatted with a woman who looked like a Thai Audrey Hepburn, but when she never wanted to I once chatted with a woman who looked like a Thai Audrey Hepburn, but when she never wanted to video call, she only sent photos. I asked for a video and she sent one of herself in a pool with water up to her neck. As she panned the camera, her face briefly reverted to its real form before the filter caught up. I took a screenshot and sent it to her. She blocked me immediately. She looked like a million baht online, but in reality, more like a million baht in loose change. We're never going to get exactly what we want, and that goes for both men and women. It is a cat and mouse game, and you have to decide which one you are. Learn the risks and never believe everything you see. My ex-sister-in-law once told me that if you enter the rat race and win, you're still a rat. I have met many women from dating apps who say they want their own massage shop or restaurant, and the conversation always seems to come back to money. I tell them that when they see women driving nice cars, living in a big house, sending their kids to private schools, and wearing expensive jewellery, it is because they did something different with their lives to get there. When I tell them that, they usually go quiet. If you ever decide to use a dating app that could change your life, take the time to learn first. Knowledge is the key. There you go. 3 great stories there, all about dating sites. Now, obviously I have some experience with the dating sites. I met my girlfriend on a dating site on thaiFriendly. You've got to be very, very careful, because although there's a lot of opportunity on there to meet women, there are women on there who are, let's just say, you don't really want to meet. There's people looking for money. And, like the guy says, a red flag. If a girl's in a 5-star hotel rooftop bar and she's, holding up cocktails, and obviously that's the sort of life she's looking for somebody to fund, isn't it? And there are certain girls on the dating sites, they're only just looking to date a foreigner, any foreigner, because they think that, they're going to meet somebody who's got a lot of money and it's going to completely change their lifestyle. Now, there's nothing wrong with a poor girl wanting a little bit of stability in her life and wanting to live a normal life, and she wants to meet somebody who can give her what she hasn't got. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you come across a girl who wants a lot more than that, fast cars, designer bags, gold, rooftop bars and meals, and that's not really what most guys are looking for. For myself, when I was looking for my girlfriend, I'd been on my own for about 5 months when I divorced my Korean wife, and I was looking for somebody I could spend time with, not necessarily just to bring back to the room. I wanted somebody I could take out for dinner and spend some time with in the park, that sort of thing. And then it developed into what it is today. 3 years later, she now lives with me, and we've got the house in Hua Hin, which we're moving to in 2 weeks' time, or 1 week, I should say, by the time this is released. And but I set my parameters very high. So for me, the things I set for myself when I was looking for a woman on Tinder is I wanted somebody who had a full-time job, because that proved to me she isn't working in a bar or the entertainment industry. I wanted somebody who she was working full-time, hadn't been married, never had any children, didn't have dependents, huge family and all that sort of thing. Very, very difficult to find. Eventually I found my girlfriend who works in a hospital in Sapang Kwai, never been married. She's 47 now, so there's an 18-year age gap, and we're very, very happy together, and I got very, very lucky. But, like the guy says, a lot of the time you'll deal with girls online and you look at their photograph and they're nothing like it. I once had an experience before I met my current girlfriend. There was another girl who was in traditional Thai, it wasn't traditional Thai dress, but she obviously worked in some kind of a government office, and it was a uniform, but it was kind of Thai, you know what I mean, like silky material. And she looked really nice. She had little earrings on, face was made up, and she looked absolutely stunning. And she looked about 35, 36 in the photograph. And I talked to her for a while. Eventually we did a FaceTime call. And I'm not joking, she must have been 57, 58, and she was, she'd ballooned up, and I just took one look at her, and, I made an excuse to hang up, and I think she got the message, because she never called me back, and I never spoke to her again. So you've got to be very, very careful. There are opportunity on dating sites, but, look at the red flags. Read the profile properly. A lot of guys don't read the profiles. They just skip through pictures. If you read the profile, a lot of girls will say on there, I'm looking for a sponsor. I'm a freelancer. I'm looking for more customers. You've got to read the profile properly, okay? If you're planning to meet somebody on an online dating site when you come out here, good luck with it. It can be done. It is possible. And even if you're just looking for a good time, that's possible as well, isn't it? Thanks for listening again this week, guys. As always, if you're sitting on a story and you'd like to hear it read out on here, I'll change names, I'll make it anonymous, and you too could hear your story read out right here on Thailand Bound. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch up with you all again next Saturday.